Evening. You would have seen a couple of weeks ago that I had 3 boxes of climbing shoes. One pair was the Pulse Positive from Mad Rock, which I did a review on, and you can see the review up here. There's a little button you can click. And the other 2 pairs of shoes were Soil. Now, if you listen to my first podcast with Plastic Weekly, you know, there was a question that came up, was like, is there any brands that didn't live up to the hype? And my answer to yes was yes, Soil. Soil didn't live up to the hype. They're putting out new stuff. They've got some new volumes like smoothies and stuff. Sorry, the innies, not the smoothies. They've got the innies that just come out, the pipes and some, you know, and the spheroids, volumes and holds. And Jason Kill's putting all those out, and he's a really talented shaper, and he does some really, really nice stuff. But I said, yeah, Soil was one of the brands that I thought that didn't live up to the hype, because there is a lot of hype, and they are a hype machine. They're a marketing machine. You know, they're probably known more now for their clothing than their holds. You know, Daniel and Dan have done their way. They've got their gym. Good for them. But let's talk about shoes. I've made a lot of notes, so I'm going to be reading a whole bunch. In this bag, this lovely bag from Metolius, is my climbing gear. So you can actually see what my climbing gear looks like. I need a new harness, so please make a comment below. My harness is an Arc'teryx, and it's from 2011, so I really need to upgrade it. So, shoes. I've been rocking around for the last month in 2 pairs of shoes. One pair of these guys are the Take Hold from Soil, and the other pair are the Street from Soil as well. Completely different shoes. One pair's a lace-up, which I generally prefer, and the other pair is a double closure Velcro shoe. Let's talk about the Streets first. Both shoes have dark matter rubber, which was apparently made and designed for the US Navy SEALs. And it's meant to be the stickiest rubber on the planet. So these are your shoes. Dark matter has a yellow line on it. You can see it's a double Velcro enclosure, double pull tab at the back. You know, fairly aggressive, fairly asymmetric shoes. They're actually, so asymmetry, as most people know, is, you know, a flat shoe is a flat shoe, but as soon as you get asymmetrical, it gets more curved, and your toes are going to get more cramped. I always say that shoes are a weapon in all of my shoe reviews, and you know, you wear certain shoes for certain things. Now these, it's an interesting story. I went to the MEC, Punk, to specifically go and get these shoes, and the only sizes they had were up to size 8. Now my shoe size is an 8 to a 9 depending on the brand of shoe, and that's the problem with climbing shoes, is some brands are, you know, some brands you'd be like, oh, it's my street shoe size because you've worn them, and other sizes is like half a size up, half a size down. For instance, you know, my street size is an 8 to a 9. In the Pulse Positives I wear an 8. In the Arco Punk, the shoes that I still say are the best shoes on the planet, I think I'm wearing an 8.5 in those. And I can wear them all day and it's fine. But these are an interesting. So I went to the MEC and I tried these on, and I tried them on in a size 8. And you get on their little wall, and even from the get-go, it was too tight, a little bit too asymmetrical. My toes were curled up, and it was really, really painful. But I figured that half a size up, and these are 8.5s, would be perfectly fine. And what they say on the website for Soil is you want to go for a performance fit. You want to go half a size up on your street size. Now, as primarily I generally wear 8s, I went to 8.5, and I ordered these from I can't remember if it was Backcountry or REI. I ordered these, and when I kick through and I look at my notes, these shoes cost me, if I turn to the right page of my book, the mech was selling them for $189. I got them, and that's Canadian plus taxes and everything else. So it would have been about $217 for just this pair of shoes. I got them in US for $129.95 plus shipping, which for some reason and handling was $30, which if you ask me is absolutely $30 for essentially putting a box in a box and sticking a label on it. 30 bucks, really? Come on, seriously. So these ended up costing me, by the end of the day, $204 Canadian, which is, when you think about it for climbing shoes, is well up there, like well up there for price. Wait till you hear about the other shoes. So it's really up there for price. The Streets, they're a soft, aggressive shoe, and they're actually not that soft. They're fairly soft, but they're not soft. You know, if you get on them and you actually really try and bend this, they are soft, but they're not that soft compared to like the 510 Projects. These are actually really quite stiff shoes. The 510 Projects are like the world's softest shoe, and I couldn't wear them. These I can wear. I have to take them off after every climb. I cannot wear them for prolonged periods of time because they're a little bit too cramped on the toe box. I really should have gone for a 9. Now they're actually offering free exchanges and everything else if you buy them off the website, but as I didn't and I've worn them for 3 weeks, I don't think I can actually exchange them. But they're good shoes. They're actually quite comfortable, despite the fact that they're probably about half a size too small for me. They don't stretch, so what you see is what you get. They may stretch a little bit, but they're never going to stretch enough for me to put these on and wear them all day. Double Velcro closure, and if you've seen the video that Soho have actually done and produced, you can actually chop off these things. There's two people talking about shoes, and it feels like they're reading from a script, and it's really uninformative. And when they get to, oh, you can chop these off because, you know, sometimes when you crank them down, the Velcro goes over too far, and, you know, they're like, so you could say it's a customizable fit. No. Doing this is a customizable fit. Cutting off this piece at the end is just making it so you're not hindering the performance of the shoe. Like I said, they're a marketing machine. But that's the life. They have really minimal stretch. These are my notes. Minimal stretch. They've got a thin midsole that's medium soft, and it is actually a thin midsole, and it is actually quite medium soft. You've got a lot of power under here, and there's a lot of power directed at your toe, because if you see, when you see them so aggressive, there's a little dimple here, and they are quite, once you get on steep with these shoes, they're actually quite good, but you have to get them in the right size. Don't do what I did. They're saying half size down on the Street shoe. Sorry, they're saying plus half a size on the Street shoe. I'd actually go +1 actually if you actually want to be able to wear them for more than 5 seconds. They've got a padded tongue, and it's actually pretty nice. When you first put the shoes on, let me undo the Velcro for you. They do have a padded tongue. It does actually make it an awful lot more comfortable to wear the shoes, and when you put it on, it feels like the tongue's rolling a little bit sideways, so it's not so great. They do have little stretchy bits on the side here, because where the heel is actually tensioned with the 2 pull straps on the back, this bit comes in and it doesn't cut, and it's like nicely padded, and it's like nice. These shoes are nicely made. They're actually really good shoes. The heel cup's really comfortable. My heel goes all the way back into them, and if they were, like I keep saying, I won't say it again, if they are half size up more, I'd be laughing and I'd be happy. Downturned toe, yeah, buckle closures. You can cut the straps off. They're saying they're for intermediate and advanced climbers. I'd agree, because no one that's below intermediate should really be wearing a downturned shoe. They should actually learn to use their feet and actually go through it. They're saying it's for bouldering and sport climbing, steep stuff, and yeah, and aggressive shoes generally good for stuff. Smearing, tension heel, and pullback tabs. Now, I wanted to hate these shoes. I really did, and they're not making a run at my punk favourite shoes in any way, shape or form. Even half a size up, and they would be a little bit more comfortable, and I could wear them for long periods of time, then maybe they'd make a run at the acros, but they're not making a run at the acros. They're good shoes. Is dark matter rubber, and that's the only thing that's the same between these two pairs of shoes. is it the stickiest thing on the planet? And if you look at some of their advertising, you'll see that they get the shoes, they do this, and the shoes stick together. Now, I tried to do this probably for about 45 minutes when the shoes were brand new and not dirty. And even if I clean them off now a little bit and get them nice, and I tried this even after I'd worn them for a bit, got the rubber, you know, nice and warm and away you went. And I was trying to do it like this, where the two shoes kind of like stick, like with big areas, and I couldn't do it. So it's you know, I've seen someone on Instagram have the shoe and just do this with it. Dark matter rubber. Is it the stickiest thing on the planet? No, it's not. It's rubber. It really is. It smears really well, and these shoes edge really well, and they smear really well, but it's not the stickiest rubber on the planet. It's just rubber. It feels quite good, and generally when you talk about sticky rubber, you're talking about shoes that are going to wear very, very quickly because the rubber goes, because it's so soft. This is after 4 weeks of actually climbing. The edges are still really good on these shoes, and I've been taking a lot of time and making sure I run sessions. So when I'd put them on for a route, get off the route, take the shoes off, put them on, and I was wearing them for the same amount of time that I wore the one shoes for as well. So generally I was running full sessions in them. I committed to wearing, despite them being a little bit too small for me, I committed to wearing them for the full session. And if they're a little bit more comfortable, like i.e. half a size up, they'd be better. And they're good shoes. They're probably, in the right size, one of the best Velcro pairs of shoes that are aggressive on the market right now. I almost bought these on Kickstarter. I almost kickstarted when they did this. I almost actually backed the Kickstarter campaign. I didn't because the price was a little bit all over the place, and you're never quite sure with a pair of shoes. And I was intrigued when they came out, so I went to Mecca and I bought them. I'd say they're more advanced shoes than intermediate shoes. They're a little, you know, they're very specific, and I always say that shoes are a weapon, and you pick your shoes. If I'm climbing steep, I'd either wear these or my acros, and I'd actually wear my acros because they're more comfortable. But these are actually really good shoes, and considering it's a new company that's putting them out, I'm actually pretty impressed. Not like, I'd say if you're going to buy these shoes, wait till there's a shoe demo and actually go and try the shoes. They're very good looking shoes. Black on black is great. I'm not quite down with the Tokyo Rose or the Tokyo Gold or the green, but the black is nice. They're good shoes and they perform well. I'm not sure they're for everyone, for sure, but they are some of the most comfortable aggressive shoes I've worn. They do get quite warm and they do get quite sweaty. Even though there's ventilation on the side, you can see all the holes and everything, they do get quite warm. Even though you're putting them on and off all the time, they do get quite warm, but they do perform really well. I don't score shoes, but they're really quite good, and I'm really quite surprised. That's it. Let's go to the most expensive climbing shoes I've ever bought. Welcome to the One. Also from Soil. Now, I couldn't buy these at Le Mec because they don't stock them, so I bought them from Soil Direct. These apparently have blood on them from where I've been climbing. These are also an 8.5, if I remember correctly, and they should be the same size. Yep, these are an 8.5 US. Dark matter rubber, they're obviously lace-ups, double pull tab on the back. Let's go through the specs really quickly. Let's get rid of that piece of paper. Let's go with this piece of paper. These are called the One. Good name. No weld construction. These shoes are glued. There is no stitching on the inside, which should make them more comfortable and better to go. They have a thick padded tongue. They do. They have almost a sneaker style tongue, and it's really comfortable. Like this tongue, awesome. Great feature of the shoe. Love it. Yes. Do you remember old school skate shoes like the old DCs and the Vans Rowleys? They had pieces of elastic on the inside, like these do. So basically, when you're just warming up in these shoes, you don't have to lace them because they actually fit quite well with the with the elastic pulling them down, and I've actually climbed, you know, up to 10s in these without without actually lacing them up, because I forgot, because they were actually fitting quite so well. They've got an aggro tensioned heel, which they do. It is quite aggro and it is quite tensioned. Adjustable laces. Aren't laces adjustable? That's the point of laces. Medium stiff midsole. Dark matter rubber. Did matter in the last time. Lightweight shoes. They're fairly light, they're not that light. Flat lasted, i.e. is completely flat. No symmetrical toe box, which means they're comfortable. Oh yeah, no down turning of your toes, no nothing, which is great. They're ideal for beginner, intermediate, advanced, trad, vert, slab, edging, not downturned, so they're comfortable. These shoes are great. Done. There's your review. These shoes are actually better than the Pulse Positives. They're way more expensive, and we'll get into that for a second, but these shoes are really good. They're comfortable and you can wear them all day, and these things are stiff, and this is 4 weeks. These are like this is still a medium soft midsole, but I've worn these for 4 weeks, and the first 2 sessions I was climbing them, I thought I was wearing a pair of wooden clogs from Holland, because I really felt a little bit uncomfortable and I felt that I couldn't feel where my toe is. They do have a slight dimple on the toe here, so when you do get into it, but after a few sessions, I'm fine. These things smear edge brilliantly. I'd actually say that these are actually better shoes than the Streets. These, if you know how to use your feet, you can climb super steep in them. They're comfortable as all hell. The no weld construction's great, and even after 4 weeks I was worried, in case, you know, I'm quite brutal on my gear, that they'd start pulling apart or something, and I actually got these from Soil Direct. There is a downside to everything though, which is always a shame. These are sweat boxes. Your feet get really warm in these. They're not very breathable. The front pad, top pad, I don't find very breathable. And I don't have really sweaty feet, and I don't get really warm in climbing shoes, but I don't find them to breathe really well. But I can put them on, and I climbed for 4.5 hours on Saturday. I put these on and I never took them off. I never took the heel off, and I climbed up to 511 in them, just mucking around running endurance. And we were running endurance, so we were just hitting routes constantly. My feet are supremely comfortable in these shoes. Board lasted, so they're really stiff, so you can really put your toe, stand on it, and know you've got a bomb-proof placement. Now, there's a downside to these shoes. There always is, apart from them being sweaty. I got these from Soil Direct. The one, by the time it's all said and done, because for some reason Soil shipped with UPS and I had to pay import charges, which was, how much was it? Oh, the import charges was $71.23. These shoes ended up costing me $286.26 Canadian. Now, let's put this in context. A pair of the Sportiva Muras, or Solutions, sorry, a pair of Solutions are $225 plus tax, which would actually take you to maybe $250. So we're $40 more expensive on a performance pair of shoes. The most expensive shoes I could find right now are the Sportiva Mura Signature Edition, and they're $239. With tax, they'd be $274.79. These are still more expensive by over $10. Now, of course, UPS fees, and I'm complaining because if you're buying these in Canada, you're gonna have to buy them from Soil or REI if they've got them, so you're gonna end up paying import fees on them because they're actually over, the thing. So these are the most expensive pair of shoes I've ever bought, and they're essentially beginner intermediate shoes. So there's some serious problems with that, and I got these from Soil Direct. I love the laces. I love the fact that they're stiff and you can really go, I've climbed 512 in these. Think of them as like a pair of Anasazis, but way stiffer and sweatier. That's it. But these shoes are really great. I've worn them an awful lot. Out of these 2 pairs of shoes, these are the best all round, right? And this is coming out of my mouth, is actually saying something. This is the best all round pair of shoes I've probably worn in about 15 years. And I've had a lot, if you've watched any of my shoe reviews, you've seen I've had a lot of climbing shoes, and I've been climbing for 30 years. These are the best climbing shoes I've worn for all-round climbing in 15 years. They don't beat the Acros, because the Acros is a specific weapon for steep stuff. But if I'm going outside and I'm pulling a trad route all day, I'll wear these. Like, all day. If I'm doing bouldering, I'd wear the Acros. Like, done. Like, it's like these are my running endurance, doing trad, you know, messing around, just do anything. These are all-round shoes. These are the best all-round shoes I have had in donkey's years. And that's a good thing. Well done, Cyril. These are great. These? Yeah, maybe if I go and spend another $200 something and get half a size up, my opinion would change a little bit on these. But these are a good specific weapon. Like, you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. You don't. You know, you don't put a band-aid on a bullet wound. These, if I'm doing really short, powerful bouldering sessions, the streets are great. But I'd also do the same session in these shoes, even though they're not aggressive, even though they're stiff, because they're comfortable and they're really, 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 and here comes a beat, f***ing good shoes. Like, seriously. Oh, okay. Here's the other thing about these shoes. These shoes were so expensive. Well, actually, these shoes were so expensive it kind of made my eyes bleed a little bit. But these shoes were so expensive when they came in the box from... I don't know why. Like, I bought a pair of climbing shoes. Why don't you just tape up the box that the shoes come in, slap a label on it, stick it in the post. Don't do a big box. It came in quite a big box. There was something rattling around in it. They sent me some tape. So this is actually probably the most expensive tape I've ever bought. Mainly because of UPS fees. This tape cost me $71 and something in UPS fees. They also sent a couple of little stickers, which I always appreciate, and they sent me the Take Hold 2017 guide. And it shows you the innies, which I wish I had a chance to play with those. They look like real fun. But they have a lot of clothing, which is nice. They got a little thing about Jason Kill. I always like Jason's stuff. But you can get the Tokyo Streets in Awful Pink. You can also get them in 2020 Gold if you're a pimp. You can also get them in, or you get them in green, but they don't have, for some reason they don't have the green. You can get them in this kind of like green and black. I got the black ones. Military grade dark matter rubber, now in seafoam green. So the final point on this is the Street are pretty good shoes. They actually are. They're not bad. I don't mind them. I'll find someone that'll actually fit them and donate them to them so they can actually try them. The One are really great shoes. Dark matter rubber. Meh, it's rubber. It seems to perform as well as any other rubber that I've ever had on any other shoe. You know, Science Friction or, you know, the 510 rubber. I don't see any particular benefit after a month in it. Both shoes smear particularly really well, but then again, all climbing shoes, you know, generally smear pretty well. You know, most standards for rubber and construction of shoes is pretty well up there. You know, there's a couple of, you know, advancements here with like the no weld in the One, and the elastic banding, see, with the tongue, and they're really comfortable shoes. You know, like, you know, laces, elastic band, pull tabs, easy on, easy off. Same with the Streets. Like, these guys are actually easy on, easy off. If they're in the right size, these are actually pretty comfortable, even with the box. You know, even with the asymmetrical box and with your toes being downturned a little bit, they're actually pretty comfortable. If I was buying shoes and I was going to recommend a pair of shoes out of these two, I'd recommend the One, and they are more expensive than the Street for sure. I'd actually recommend the One because I think they're a better all-round, all-day shoe than the Street. But if you want something, if all you do is boulder, steep, all the time, then yeah, you know, you may want to go for the Street, but please make sure you get the right size. And now they're giving free returns, you can actually get the right size. You know, me, if I'd done that, I could send the shoes back and get another pair. and make sure they're the right size. If you can find a shop that actually has them, REI has the Street, and so does Backcountry, and the Mech has them. If you can find them, try them on, get the right size, and I'm sure you'll be actually perfectly happy with them. They, you know, for me right now, they're just bog standard. They're just bog standard downturned Velcro shoes. You know, there's a couple of nice little gimmicks in there where, you know, you can cut off the tabs, it doesn't knacker the stitching and stuff, but you know, that's just a bit of a gimmick. I've cut tabs off of climbing shoes and they've never really been that bad. It's just, meh, whatever, I cut the tabs off, who gives a shit? But the One is actually my preferred shoe out of these two shoes. And you can't really, it's like comparing apples and oranges, because one is an all-day beginner intermediate shoe and the other one's an aggressive sport bouldering, you know, an aggressive shoe. You know, my acros are downturned, and some of my shoes have been downturned, and they've been perfectly comfortable, great shoes to climb in for all of my steep needs. But I don't know. Maybe my opinion's a little bit mixed on the Street. They're good, and maybe you'll like them, maybe you won't. Rubber, it's rubber. It's nothing particularly special. But the One, for a beginner intermediate shoe, even an advanced shoe, it's actually a very good shoe. It's super comfortable, and now my bag, my little Metodist bag changes. Now I have the One in there and my acros. These I'll give away to someone that actually fits them, or I'll, you know, whatever. People wanting to know, and you know, like, there's not much information on the Sewell website. You go to the FAQ and it goes to a different page. But that's my opinion. The One's a great shoe. The Street, opinion's pretty much still out there. Don't know, not sure. I can come back to you in a couple of months when I wear them more, but I think my opinion's still going to be the same. I think the One is a very good all-round shoe, and I thoroughly recommend it. Best shoe I've climbed in for 15 years. Once you get used to it, they feel a bit clunky, but they're quite light and they're comfortable, and you can wear them all day, and they're great shoes, but a little bit sweaty. And the Street, well, you know, for a performance fit, I went half a size up, and they're bloody uncomfortable. And as they don't stretch, they're going to stay bloody uncomfortable. So that's a bit of a problem. So my advice is, if you buy in the Street and you can't try them, go a size up so you get a snug fit, and you might be able to wear them for more than one boulder at a time, or one route at a time, and then have to rip them off, because otherwise you're just going to be unvelcroing those shoes, taking them off and standing on the hills all day, because they are really quite uncomfortable. But they do perform quite well. If you don't mind a bit of pain, and you know, I've done 4 weeks of this, if you don't mind a bit of pain, they perform quite well. But the One is the one for me. As always, well, stay beautiful. Please subscribe. You know, subscriptions up here somewhere. Please subscribe. Subscriptions for us are like hugs, and you know, the more people that subscribe, then maybe I might actually make some money from Google, and then I can buy some more climbing shoes that cost me too much money, because I spent over $400 on 2 pairs of shoes, and 1 pair of shoes is really uncomfortable. Stay beautiful, and well, I'll see you again soon. Peace. Big arm.